mathematicians. Today we're going to be learning about fractions, more specifically about adding fractions and mixed numbers with the same denominator. To get us started, we have 3 over 8 plus 1 over 8. So 3 over 8 is like having 3 slices out of 8 left over, plus an additional slice out of 8 left over, maybe of a different type of pizza. So because the denominators are the same here, we could go ahead and just add the numerators. So the 3 slices plus the 1 slice, which would give us 4 slices left over. And we know that a pizza comes in 8 pieces, so it would be 4 slices out of the 8 that it would take to complete the whole pie. So if we have 2 fractions with the same denominator, add the numerators, and then leave the denominator the same. So here we have 4 over 8 as our answer, but we have a greatest common factor that goes into 4 and 8, which is 4, so we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 4 to simplify our fraction. 4 divided by 4 is 1, 8 divided by 4 is 2, so 3 over 8 plus 1 over 8 is equal to 4 over 8, which can be simplified to 1 over 2, so half. So let's do another example now. Here we have 5 3/7 plus 4 sevenths. Because we have a mixed number plus a fraction, what we're going to do is we're going to separate our whole numbers and our fractions when we add. So for our whole numbers, we only have 5, which we made in pink, so we know that that's our whole number. 5 3/7 is the same thing as 5 plus 3/7. So for right now, we're just going to split it apart so that we can add our 2 fractions together. So 5 is the only whole number, so we just bring that down. And then we go ahead and add the 2 fractions, the fraction from our mixed number and the fraction that we had by ourselves. So in order to add the fractions, because the denominator is the same, we go ahead and add the numerators. 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. And then we leave the denominator as the same, so it's just 7 over 7. So now we have our whole number and our fraction, and we have to add it together. But 7 over 7 is the same thing as 1, because 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 7 out of 7 just makes a whole. So essentially we have 5 plus 1, which is equal to 6. So 5 3/7 plus 4 sevenths is equal to 6. So let's do another example. Here we have 4 over 5 plus 7 3 over 5. So we're going to go ahead and split up the whole numbers and the fractions. For our whole number, we only have 7. But then for our fractions, we have 4 over 5 and 3 over 5. And again, 7 3/5 is the same thing as adding 7 3/5, so we just put it here, and we put our whole number by itself. Now, because we only have one whole number, which is 7, we're just going to rewrite the 7 and then go ahead and add our fractions. So 4 over 5 plus 3 over 5 is equal to 7, because we go ahead and add the numerators when the denominators are the same, and then we keep the denominator, which is 5, so 7 over 5. And then we go ahead and add our whole number plus whatever we got for our fractions. But notice here that 7 over 5 is an improper fraction that we can rewrite as a mixed number. So we have 7 plus 1 2/5. Well, 7 plus 1 is equal to 8. And then we have 2/5, which is, we'll just rewrite as 2/5. So 4/5 plus 7 3/5 is equal to 8 2/5. All right, so let's do another example. So here we have 2 and 5 over 8 plus 1 and 1 over 8. So we go ahead and we separate our whole numbers and our fractions. Because we have 2 mixed numbers here, we're going to go ahead and have 2 whole numbers here, so 2 and 1. And then we have our 2 fractions here that we're also going to combine. So if we combine our whole numbers, 2 plus 1, we get 3. And then we go ahead and add our fractions. Because the denominator is the same, we're just going to add the numerators, so 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. and then keep the denominator, which is 8. And then we go ahead and add our whole number and our fraction. So 3 plus 6 over 8 is equal to 3 and 6 over 8. But notice that 6 and 8 both have a greatest common factor of 2. So we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2 to simplify our fraction. So 3 and 6/8 is equal to 3 and 3/4 because 6 divided by 2 is 3 and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 2 and 5/8 plus 1 and 1/8 is equal to 3 and 6/8, which can be simplified to 3 and 3/4.